be on
Well, we
the
can, and
audio.
if that, I mean, I don't know how hard it is, but I mean, need to. We'll just do it. Screw it. Is it playing? Is it already recording?
Yes,
Hello?
recording.
So we already got the screw it and recording.
Yeah.
All right, so
We're
I
in
guess
this.
I guess we'll just start. Smokin Poetry Podcast.
Welcome,
Season 2, we're back. Mike Harris and your co-host.
Sarah Garlic.
And our special guest tonight is Arthur the Poet. Arthur, what else are we calling you?
I'm a poet. I'm a writer, philosopher, idol of millions of starving artists everywhere because I know how to secure the bag.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a friend to sex workers everywhere. They know me by name. Yeah, that's a good intro. I'm good with that.
Let's be a little careful because the lawyer in me is like, let's not go too far here about what you're going to do. I don't want you to be anything to be taken by the fuzz here.
Goodness. But Arthur does a lot of things around town. He's a short filmmaker where he's working on a new project as well coming up soon. What are you doing in that aspect?
I have finally finished the script. I have a young lady who's a singer, open mic host, songwriter, gym rat, just a wonderful person. She's in bands, named Sarah Garlic. Y'all may have heard of her. She's going to star in this film. It's a short film. It's like 10 minutes. It's called Coffee Stained Cigarettes. It's about a couple who decided to invite a young lady into their relationship. They were going to try the poly thing to save their relationship, but it didn't work. Meanwhile, the guy still wants to see the girl.
We get to watch all that.
How much editing are we going to be doing for this episode? I don't know.
What?
No.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Arthur's got to keep it real with us. Arthur's doing a lot of things with his life. What else are you doing, Arthur?
Yeah, that does not involve.
What?
Well, whatever you're.
Polyamory, it's a lifestyle
I understand.
where people, I say they're a couple and they want to invite other people into their relationship.
That is normal now.
And a lot of it isn't sexual. It's about connections. A lot of times if you're in a monogamous relationship and you want to be friends with a woman, your woman may be like, no. Or she might be like, how does she look? And if she looks like Sarah or Antoinette over there, she's going to veto that and be like, no, you can't be friends with her. But that fat chick eating the chili cheese dog, you can be friends with her all day.
And that's just inappropriate.
Yeah, people do that. And it could be strictly business, platonic, but people do that, and you end up losing out on blessings in life just to cater
And
to your
meaningful
partner.
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, in order to be able to discount yourself for somebody else at that point.
So that's the root of what being poly is all about.
Good point.
Those are important topics to talk about.
Yes.
They are.
Thank you for bringing
So
us up
we
today.
can do the whole show on poly if we want, or there are
That
other
could just be
there
one
are
thing.
other subjects that I thought we were going to be talking. Not to veer away. We could
talk.
We could talk more poly.
Well, we've talked a little bit about, I would say, the art that you're doing. Do you have what motivates you?
What motivates me as a creator, and this is true if I'm doing a painting, if I'm doing poetry, if I'm writing a novel, I consider myself a vessel. And sometimes I don't even know where it's coming from. So if I'm writing a story about an abortion, I'm a man. I never had an abortion. But this feminine spirit will overcome me. And that's where I wrote the short film, Adulting. It came from. It was about a woman who, she was on the fence because she knew the guy was no good, didn't want to have anything to do with her or the child, but she decided to have the child. And now she's dealing with a child that she can't take care of. And all the things that come along with that.
It was a hard decision.
It was, and I wrote it in a Hooters of all places. Or maybe I looked at someone and was like, hey, you need some parenting. I don't know where it came from, but I think as artists we channel things and we channel different people's energy.
Okay.
And it's those connections to other people. Like somebody can walk by and you don't speak to them, but they have an interesting look, or you just want to know their story. So when I write, I'm channeling my own stories as well as other people. So inspiration
Or your
comes from everywhere.
perception of them.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the writings.
Okay.
What kind? I mean, you have both poetry and novels, or what kind of writings do you have?
I actually wrote a novel back in 2006 called Ghetto the Coffee Shop. And in this novel, it's available on Amazon, but don't buy it because I did not get it professionally edited.
Mm.
And it was about...
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't buy it.
Good point. Good point.
Buy it, and then you'll do a new edition, and you'll get the new polished version later.
You got work out, and that's very incredibly respectable.
It was about what goes on at poetry slams and open mics where people started getting... Okay, I'll tell you the story. I'm a nerd by nature. I write comic books. Mm-hmm. I cosplay, things of that nature. So I started going to these poetry open mics, and you had some women that they used to date thugs and roughnecks or whatever you want to call them. And they decided, I'm tired of that life. I want to change my narrative as far as my dating life. So then they decide, I want a nerd. So they'll go to these open mics. You get on stage, you say a couple deep words like, women, you're my queen, you're my everything. I worship you. I want to drink your bathwater and bathe with you. I love you, girl. You know, something like that. And they're like, oh, my God, he's so deep. And you get these poetry groupies.
That works?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean...
Because that's not my poems are not like that.
Some people are shallow.
Maybe
okay, I'm sorry. I maybe shouldn't have said like that, but... I was saying some people have certain standards for the way that they would like to interact with people. Mm-hmm. And, like, actually we were all having a conversation about this at lunch about how, you know, some people can have surface level conversations and some people can get into extreme depth.
It's true. And people gravitate towards that. Mm-hmm. They gravitate because they're looking at you. You're shining in the light. You get on any stage in America, you have certain people, they are in awe of your talent, in awe of your words, and they want to be in your orbit. They want to be around that. That's where the groupies come from.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, you know, I think this is like a good opportunity to segue into anything you would like to show off for maybe, you know.
Do you have any,
like
know, maybe a poem
like
you'd
something
like to share with us?
that you know will make everyone say, "Oh, I love you, Arthur." Anything like that.
We're gonna get
okay,
Arthur some
you're a
cookies.
poet
Is
as
that what's
well.
happening?
She's a poet. She's a writer of songs. We used to play. We call them word jams, where somebody come up with a word, somebody come up with a poem. So somebody give me a word.
Alligators. That's the first one that came to my mind.
Okay, alligators. Okay, let me get in my poet mind. I used to swim in swamps I used to swim in swamps in Florida. Alligators were among us. The hunger was among us. They wanted to feed us to the alligators as if we were nothing more than 1/3 humans. At least that's what the pigs say. As the ghetto helicopters and the ghetto birds circle around us and round us and round us, and they didn't want to shoot me dead just because of the color of my skin. I know a young lady who is not black and blue, at least not until you're done with her, until you're done with her. But you look at her and you see her with her pretty eyes and her complexion, and you're questioning if she's a white woman or a white. No. See, her mother was white, her dad was black. She doesn't fit in any world. She's not black enough for the black girls. She's not white enough for the white girls. And the men, well, men are men. Men are pigs. They're no better than cops. They will take advantage of her and her beauty if you let her. You see, I met this girl. Her name is Antoinette. She's a beautiful queen. Some people would say a black queen. Some people would say a white queen. Some people would say, we don't know what the fuck to do with you. Mm-hmm. She walks around with that big dick energy because she's a boss. She has to be tough. Grew up not on the wrong side of the streets, but when you look at her, that's what you want to accuse her. But she was raised in a middle-class home. She had a mom, dad, cat, all that. But you want to take it away from her when you beat her with your words. Mm. Which is worse, feeding me to the alligators or just making soup out of me? You see, our lives parallel in different ways. See, I've never been to jail, but I know what handcuffs feel like. I know what being caged up feels like. I know what happens when I'm not allowed to speak. I know what happens when those alligators rip into your skin and rip into your flesh and you're nothing. I know what happens when you're slapped and your face turns different shades of red, different shades of blue, different shades of fuck it. I thought you said I love you. I know what happens when we or among friends and family and private company, and we're having those private conversations. My ex-wife, she was white. She got mad at me one day and looked at me with honest eyes and called me a nigger with the ER. And she meant it. And I asked her, why did she say that to me? We had been together for 5 years. Why did she say these words to me? And she looked at me and she said, I just wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to hurt you. And what could I do with that information? She wanted to hurt me. What could I say? If I called her a cracker, that wouldn't do. There was no salt in the room, so a cracker wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. She wanted to beat me down black and blue, and I'm already black. I'm not a fucking Smurf, but she wanted to make me blue. She wanted those handcuffs. She wanted the boys in blue to come after me. The aftermath of poetry is when we realize that we're more than men and women. We're more than our skin tone. We're more than what's between our thighs. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I cry when I look at my friend Antoinette because she's stuck between both worlds, and both worlds are pulling her apart as if she's nothing. Yet her wisdom and her philosophy, her poetry and philosophy are more than what you see. She is beautiful beyond what you see and what I see. Damn, when I look at you, woman, I'm looking at you across the room, all I see is fucking poetry. All I see when I look at you is poetry.
Oh my God.
That's it.
That was gorgeous. Thank you for sharing with us today. That was off the dome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I feel jealous of you right now.
Yes.
She's like, why I gotta be in this damn poem?
Yeah, I don't know if this is okay. I don't know.
All right, come on in.
But
I feel like we should. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you. I wanted to know a little bit about if you are feeling comfortable enough to share with us what
is a
your
safe
childhood
space.
was like, how you grew up.
I grew up on the ghetto streets of Nevada. No. Actually, I grew up, my mom was a single parent. She had 4 kids.
Wow.
I was the youngest. Yeah. And we were poor. You know, we were on welfare, public assistance, but we did not realize we were poor. It was only when you are around other people that you realize that you're poor. Because it wasn't something we thought about, because everybody else in our neighborhood, similar situations. And used to be embarrassed to go to the store and spend, this is back when they had food stamps. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't put on a card. Used to be embarrassed to spend food stamps. And I don't know what happened between now and then. Now people are not ashamed of being on welfare or anything like that anymore. They brag about
They
it.
take advantage of it.
Yeah. So I grew up single parent home. My mom had different boyfriends and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But it was a struggle. And I got mad at my mom. I was mad at her for years because she didn't teach us about finances and balance of the checkbook, things of that nature. But I had to apologize to her because she didn't know these things. Mm-hmm. How can I be mad at a parent that didn't teach me something they don't know?
She's just doing her best.
She's just doing her best.
Yeah.
And
she's all by herself.
She was all by herself.
4 kids, that's a lot. That's hard.
I'm going to ask you a question as a woman. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And this is things you realize about your childhood when you get older.
Yes.
You used to know she would give me, brothers and sisters are out doing whatever. She would pay me $3 or $4. Hey, go to the store, get some candy or whatever. Don't come back until you see the used car dealer's car leave the house.
Yeah.
And you start looking when you're older, you're like, whoa. My mom, single mom, had to sleep with this man in order to keep this car.
Wow.
Do I judge my mom for doing what she had to do to take care of her kids?
She's doing what she had to do. That's respectful to me at that point. Like, it's not, I mean, there was a lot, and I'm sure there was so much that led to that situation, but I can't necessarily judge when I'm outside of that, because I didn't experience any of it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what led her to that point, and I don't know any of that sort, but I can say that if you're doing what you're doing to take care of your kids, that is respectable. Absolutely. Yeah.
I had a coworker, similar situation. She had a boyfriend. He was a thug. Mm-hmm. And she told me one day, she was like, Arthur, if I tell you something, you promise not to judge me. I just need to get it out and tell somebody. I was like, sure, whatever. Mm-hmm. and she told me that she went on Craigslist.
Are we telling your friend's secrets right now?
I didn't say her name.
Well, we still.
There's a lot of Tabithas out there.
Oh my God!
I'm sure that's not her real name.
Tabitha Akins is a
That's
common
not her
name.
real
You could, I mean, I'm sure maybe if you give us not super like descriptive details.
No, her name's really not Tabitha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her real name is Cindy.
Exactly, you know her too.
Sandy.
Cindy.
I don't know.
Sandy, Tabitha.
I hope I didn't guess right. That would be really horrible. But
It's actually Kelly. But
No.
no, but she was like, "Will you not judge me?" I was like, "Of course not." And she told me that because dating a thug, he didn't work. He sold drugs, and apparently he was bad at it. I never met anybody that's really good at it, you know. But she said she went on Craigslist, and guys were looking, for sexual favors, and she did it twice to pay their rent. And she was like, "What do you think of that?" I was like, well, first kick him out. Obviously, he could have went on Craigslist and did this.
Yeah. Half the bill's gone.
But I don't judge people for what they do to pay their bills because I'm not in those situations, and so I can't judge. But I learned in the process from my mom and from what Sandy said. You have a lot of women that judge other women for what they do more so than men.
Yeah, I just know that in my the way that I feel, it's not for me, but some people.
She was like, "Let's
some
establish
people-
that."
clarifying
Well,
that.
No. I'm just saying.
My co-host is not a hooker. Thank you for clarifying.
More so,
It's the best
It's
podcast.
the fact that you can respect other people for the way that they feel the most comfortable. So if people feel like they are expressing themselves sexually, that they are freeing themselves sexually by doing things like that, by dancing, by whatever thing you do, or at that point, if you're comfortable doing that, because obviously, and sometimes people aren't comfortable doing that, and they have to anyway in order to pay their bills.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to respect both, because there are people who want to do it, people who don't want to do it that are doing it anyway, and then there are people that don't do it. And
So
if you're there's no reason in being prejudiced about it. Yeah.
That's a great segue, because as a host of an open mic, and just a performer in general, you meet men and women. What do you think about people who objectify themselves in order for people to appreciate their art?
Oh, okay. I need a little bit of context. I love that. Really quick, I love that you're asking questions to make us think. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Usually the guest is supposed to answer the questions, not ask them. This
Oh,
is a different
no.
kind of podcast. We're doing a different kind of show. Hey, let's spin it
Well, it was
around.
cool with Noah and Jasper too, because they were
Yeah.
asking each other questions, and it's really cool to be able to just discuss and have this atmosphere that we've created. Anyway, so I need a little bit more context into what you're talking
All
about.
right, so if you have a young lady and talent, she has talent, but you see her and it's like, hey, all the girls are going to be out for all the boys to see or the girls to see. I'm going to wear the shortest skirt I can find. And to me, it's a distraction from the talent. But this person feels that they need these distractions because otherwise people will not hear them. They won't
Do
pay
you know
attention
that
to them.
specifically, or is that what you're thinking? Is that your thought process? Yeah.
Good point. Well, my thought process when I'm looking is like, damn, girl.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But
of course.
you do have...
Did they say they needed it, though?
I have had conversations with a couple people that feel they need it.
Well, okay, but did that person specifically say they need it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then that has base. You're right. I was just saying, because there are some times where it's like you get that perception of like, well, maybe that's, the way that she's thinking is I need to, show myself off in order to be able to cover for that. But, yeah, okay. Huh.
I do see I see the point. I think part of the point you're making is there are many very talented women who don't need the sex appeal.
Well,
But they
I don't
think
think
they don't
anybody
have confidence.
Confidence
you should
in their
need
skill.
The sex appeal, but I think it's
Yeah.
also put on us as women within this world to do so. And that, kind of seems like the only purpose sometimes, and a lot of times, because you can't necessarily just exist as a woman without being sexualized or without, anything that you do is always being watched and things like that. And so I feel like it creates that sort of a culture of, You know, I like to wear cute outfits. That's me. It's not for anybody else in that aspect. And I think, honestly, like, that is where it should be as a society. But I wouldn't hold it against that person because they're within this society. And how can we blame the people who are being affected by the society instead of the standards that we uphold? You know?
That.
Yeah.
We have to reset the standards.
But I think there's a difference of, do you want to do it or do you feel that you need to do it to get attention?
Yes.
If that's who you want to be, I think it's very different than
You need
no
to.
one's going to listen to me unless I do
being
that.
pressured by society.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying there's not pigs, for lack of better words, out there who are not going to listen and they only want to look at the sexy women, but I hope that's not the target audience for too many of you out there.
No, the Smokin podcast is for the real ones.
Yeah, we don't want to. Those are not the people we're
Without real talent.
Yes, we want real talent. Speaking of real talent, why don't we kind of gear back towards a little bit about you a little bit, get you back on the witness stand here, and ask you some more questions. And what else? Well, what are you doing poetry-wise? I mean, we heard that one. What are you doing as far as getting your stuff out there?
I released a poetry book back in 2010. I'm currently working on a new one. First one was called Transcendental Plantation Volume 1. So I'm working on a new volume, all new material. I mean, it's been some years. Come on. And I'm gearing up to bring poetry slams back to Colorado Springs. I can't really get into too much detail, but I miss poetry slams. I miss the competition. I miss the energy that they bring. It's something about being around other creatives, even at an open mic, that brings out the best in you. Like, you see somebody perform and you're like, oh my God, my shit is trash. I need to go home and rewrite,
Yes, it's good to challenge ourselves.
It's a healthy competition in that sense.
Yes.
You know, like, when you are on stage, you're hosting this, and you're bringing up these different performers, whether a comedian, spoken word artist, singer, whatever, magic. Still didn't get to see the magic guy.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
She'll
but
come around soon.
I'm in awe of other people's talent. I don't talk about a lot of things that I've accomplished because I've already done those. I'm worried about what I'm going to accomplish next. So it's a humble brag because some people, you'll meet them and be like, hi, Mike. You're like, hey, I'm Mike. And they'll just start giving you their whole resume, and you're like, I just said hi, bro.
Yeah,
it gets to be a little bit overbearing sometimes when you're just in people's face about it like that.
Or they'll tell you, I performed with this person, I opened for that person. They'll do the name-dropping thing, but
I think it's important to listen as well.
Yeah.
Because if you don't listen and then you just like tell them all this stuff, then they have no reason necessarily to care because you can tell that you don't care about them.
Bingo.
In that aspect, yeah.
So I'm working on this new collection of poetry, working on the poetry slam, getting that up and running. I'm also working on a couple of short films. I wanted to make a web series, but it's not the season for it yet. I'm not ready to tackle that project.
Well, what is that?
Things to come.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know how.
Well,
what is the web series? What's the idea? What's this going to be?
It's called Nerds of a Certain Age. Glad you asked that question.
What's it called?
Nerds of a Certain Age.
Okay.
It's about this guy. He owns a comic book shop. He's around 54 years old. He's been married, divorced 3 times. He inherited the shop from the previous owner, so he's been stuck with it. And he knows more about fictional characters like Spider-Man and Batman than he does real life.
Wow.
Hence, that's why his marriage has failed. So they have a D&D night at his comic book shop. He ends up sleeping with a 21-year-old cosplayer.
Wow.
And he's ready to, keep in mind, he's ready to sell the shop and move on. He wants to open a granola shop in a different state. So the thrust of it's a 6-episode series. The thrust of it is he's at a turning point in his life where he's ready to move on. But now this young girl may be pregnant, so he feels that he may be stuck. She's 21 years old. She might be knocked up by some old guy.
Yeah.
So her whole life is like, I'm getting ready to go to college and all this. So it's about being at those tipping points in life where you have to make some real life decisions.
Wow.
It's a dark comedy, so it's a lot of humor in it, similar to shows like Californication. So this is some of the best writing I've ever done, and I would just want to make sure it's right.
Sure.
6 episodes. I got the treatment wrote. I got 2 episodes wrote. I'm going to bring that young lady over there, teach her screenwriting, because I want her to write an episode of it.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Because
you didn't know what you were getting into when you came out here for lunch.
But it's about human beings at the end of the day, and the decisions we make and the adverse effect of those decisions.
Absolutely.
You know, that would be a great segue to a poem about human beings and decisions. Do you have anything like that you would on the tip of your mind? Because we want to, give a little bit of
about human
taste
beings
to the audience, maybe a little teaser, a little
inside
something.
your mind. It's been super cool.
Yeah, see if I can put you on the spot here.
I can come up with something about humans. I'm like, my stuff's over there, but I don't want to go get it. But
Oh well,
I can go grab it.
we can pause it. Okay.
humanity. Sometimes I wonder in the back of my mind if nature is done with humanity. I can't be the only one that haven't seen the carnage, haven't seen the calamity. You see, we pollute every damn thing we do, whether it's our speech, even our I love yous. How can you say I love you and kill my soul softly, kill it, hardly kill it, till there's nothing more? You see, when I look at humanity, I see all the smiles and the bright faces, and I see your dreams and aspirations. And then I look at you with honest eyes, and I see the darkness in your soul, and I kind of wonder about you. I kind of wonder if Mother Nature, I kind of wonder if Gaia is going to get Captain Planet and come after you. I kind of wonder if the planet is just going to explode or implode because we've already exploded and exploited everything, every natural resource we can. Fossil fuels, fossils. Fuck it, I am a fossil. It's Black History Month. Call me Black History. I sometimes wonder as I look out my window and I see the earth and it's still beautiful. But do you see the beauty if you still litter? Do you see the beauty in the planet if you still are willing to kill a child just because the government told you so? People used to come up with these philosophical debates and ask, would you kill baby Hitler if you had a chance, knowing the outcome? A lot of people are like, yeah, I would do it. I would do it. But here's a gun. There's a child. What are you going to do? The answer would be no. See, when I look at humanity, I kind of think about Batman and the Joker. Even though Batman knows that the Joker's just killing people softly, he won't kill him. Because he feels that if he kills the Joker, he's no better than the Joker. So when I ask you and I look at you, what makes you better than me? What makes your humanity more valuable than my humanity? What makes you dream? You see, I had a dream. I dreamed a little dream. I dared to dream a little dream. And when that dream came true, I was like, fuck it. This is meaningless if I don't have you. So why did I kill you? Why did I kill you? Why did I kill you when I need you? Humanity is nothing but what the earth dreams about when she sleeps. That's it.
That's gorgeous.
How much do you just prepare versus do freestyle with that kind of stuff?
A lot of it's freestyle. Like I can have something written and look at it and not use any of it.
But it's still the same concept?
Because it just came. I don't know what the words are. I'm trying to think of words to use.
It's
well,
just
like it was like natural, like it. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like you're talking more than performing in a way.
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Yeah.
I saw the greatest minds of my generation destroyed by madness. I come from that Allen Ginsberg. I come from that Beat Generation type of writing. That stream of conscious, that's what the word you were looking for. That stream of conscious type of writing where it just flows.
Yeah.
So it's easy just to pick up something out of the atmosphere and put it in a song.
Yeah.
Wow.
My next question.
What?
Why do you write?
Oh.
Ooh, damn. Got to take some Colorado famous water for that one. I write to be an advocate for myself, as well as other people who they're afraid to use their voice. So until they're ready to use their voice, until they feel comfortable using their voice, I'm going to fight for them. Mm-hmm. That's why I write. And I also write as a form of therapy because we're all going through shit. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I learned from therapy, is that you're either going to internalize it or you're going to let it out. Mm-hmm. Some people let it out in violent ways. I'd rather paint a picture or write down some words than hit a wall or hit somebody or shoot somebody or just decide I'm just going to pop some pills or drink myself to death. That's
You found a good way of expressing yourself.
Yes.
Poetry's never killed anyone, I don't think.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
It'll be interesting if it did. I want to know the story. But yeah, that's why I write. It's therapy and to give people a voice.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Arthur.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Did we get all the stuff you wanted to promote with
We definitely need to talk about your comic books. We'll put a place where we can buy those and your book.
Okay.
In the description. And then also, are you on like IMDb? Where can we find your work?
I am on IMDb because I am a film writer. I have several projects on there that I've either written, I've produced. I also I'm a director. A lot of people don't realize that I'm a director as well. I also have a YouTube channel called That Indie Comics Guy. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to have some kind of giveaway. It might be money. It might be a picture of my cat. I don't know. It's going to be something. But, yeah, that's where I am most of the time is on my YouTube channel. I talk about pop culture, comic books, some celebrity news. Just depend which way the wind blows.
Are you looking for any particular gigs that we need to market you to?
Not right now. I keep adding more stuff to my plate. But I do plan on this spring and summer hitting up every open mic I can to share my spoken word, to share my poetry, and get it out there.
Yes. And you're usually at the Ultra Flat Black open mic.
I am there every Tuesday.
Yes.
We must remember our plugs.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
And Rock City Cafe for letting us shoot here.
Yes,
Rock
we got to get
City.
the close-up.
We will definitely
We're
do
going to do
that.
that. Yes.
All right, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming to see us on. We'll see you next time. Smokin' Poetry Podcast.
Peace.
And check out Rock City Cafe.
Okay.
That was fun.